All right. I think I'm ready to go live here. All right, let's check the camera. I hope everything is. I hope my room looks decent. I really do. Nevertheless, here we go. Welcome to the Thomas Miller Show. My name is Thomas Miller. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. You can follow my socials. They are scrolling at the top right above my head, along with the latest news. Also, the number inside the home studio, Chuckle. I'm going to get a studio. That number is 562-337-9619. 562-337-9619. You can give me a call and be a part of the conversation. Thank you again for tuning in. If you would like to sponsor the show, you can help me out. You can buy me a coffee, buymeacoffee.com/TM show, or you can go to my Patreon, sign up for the Patreon, and that's going to be coming real soon. That's where you're going to get exclusive stuff. The stuff that I will definitely get a strike for or a warning from the YouTubes. That's the stuff that will go there on the Patreon. It's in the description box below, and I got some good stuff. Let's get right into the show. All right, so let me do this real quick, get it all prepped up for you. Before we get into the meat of the show, let me get my notes. I actually did some preparation tonight. The meat is a video by Paul Harvey, the legendary broadcaster Paul Harvey. There's going to be a video coming up later on the show, and we are going to take a hard look at that video, as well as an adaptation of a new video that was taking in the same vein as the Paul Harvey video. So stay tuned for that. You are not going to want to miss that. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the first thing. All right. Okay. I can't believe this, but we're going to play the video. I'm going to stop it here and there, and we're going to talk about it. But this is ridiculous. San Francisco stores install exit gates and locks up the freezer for shoplifting. Let's go ahead and let's start playing that video, and let's see what we got here. Whoop, hang on. You would think I know what I'm doing by now, but here we go.
Retail theft is rampant in San Francisco. We walked into a store and easily spotted and recorded shoplifters in action. Now some retailers are going to new lengths to protect their products. KTVU's Christian Captain joins us now from a Walgreens in the city's Richmond district that has taken the drastic step of using a...
Man, check it out. Check it out in the background. My man he doesn't even care. He's on camera. Probably a homeless guy. I can't fault him for being homeless. I don't know that man, but that's just, if this is happening in San Francisco, man, yeah, I would at least try to get out of the way of the camera. But anyway,
a chain to lock up the food there. Christian.
Yeah, pretty incredible, Julie. The workers and customers here at this Walgreens say that they are frustrated at the amount of rampant theft that goes on. And now the shop, as you said, has taken the somewhat unprecedented step of simply chaining off an area there. That is their latest attempt to try to thwart the thieves. Customers at this Walgreens at 16th Avenue and Geary Boulevard say this is a distressingly common sight. Shoplifters making their way through the aisles, helping themselves to whatever they want, then walking out.
I have seen people actively grabbing stuff off the shelves and walking out the door.
Now this Walgreens has taken a drastic step, chaining up the refrigerated and frozen foods.
Man, I'm telling you, for my friends outside of California, don't come to California. Not because it's not beautiful. It is gorgeous. California is a gorgeous place to live. But this is just one of many reasons not to come to California, and one of many reasons why people are leaving California. You mean you got to lock up the frozen stuff now? You got to lock up the freezer, and it's not even like a high-tech thing. We're using the old school bicycle chain padlocks. Let's just lock it up. This is some hood type stuff right here, and it's really unfortunate. This is insane.
The only way to get any items inside, ringing for assistance. Customers say they're frustrated that it's come to this.
Man,
It is terrible because you have to wait. You have to ask for a clerk to come and unlock anything that you want to buy, anything, including a soda.
In the
so you got to call the attendant, and at this San Francisco Walgreens, you got to call the attendant to get some Ben and Jerry's. And you know how fast they come, for reals. Do they come lickety split? Do they come like, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, what can I get for you? I'll be happy to do that. No, you're going to press that button for like 5-6 times. The Walgreens people walk by you, look at you, ringing the bell. They don't call no one. They keep doing what their job, because it's not their department. So they keep going, doing their department job. And you standing there looking stupid, trying to get some ice cream. So now, even with because you know, most places, ice cream and frozen products out the store. And this is ridiculous. Pretty soon, it's literally, remember the old school dairies where you drove through? There's still a few in existence, but you drive in the dairy and then you just tell the attendant what you wanted. He goes back, gets you your stuff, and you give him the money, whatever, he gives you change, and then you're about your way. You know, the dairy is good for a couple of items. Like, you want to get a soda, like the lady was saying. You want to get some ice cream. You want to get, back in the day, you want to get some cigarettes or something like that. You just pull in there, they take care of you. Now, this is probably the next thing when it comes to businesses. You'll probably have to go to a Walgreens that's completely drive-through, and they're going to have maybe 3 or 4 people going and getting your order, going to the window. You pay the people, they put your stuff out through the window, and then you be on your way. I'm telling you, this is probably the next thing that's going to happen. This is absolutely disgusting.
the span of less than 2 hours, we saw 4 confirmed shoplifting incidents. Thieves making off with drinks, food, and stationery supplies. In a statement, Walgreens said retail crime is one of the top challenges facing their industry, and that the company is focused on safety.
Oh my goodness. Here, back this up. I want you to see this. Now, this is the reporter. Now, watch the guy. See that dude right there? This dude right here is stealing that dude right there. And I think that's the reporter. And he's full on got his camera out. There's a cameraman following him. He don't care. He's taking what he's got and he's going to go out the door. 2 people filming him. This is how bad this has gotten, to where people don't even care.
Facing their industry, and that the company is focused on safety. The company says it continues to take preventative measures to safely deter.
And there is another camera right there. He turns his head away. He's gonna go off with his soda, his like hot Fritos, and he's just gonna call it a night. While he's got 3 cameras on him taking the stuff. And here's the sad thing about it. This is really, really sad. If they call the popo, they call the police, all they're going to do is just make him put it back. They're not going to take him to jail. They're not going to lock him up. They may give him $200 and let him pass go.
Theft and still deliver the best experience it can for customers. We spoke with a San Francisco police sergeant who works undercover, so he asked us to not show his face. He says ultimately it's up to the retailer to protect their goods and hire security if needed. He said oftentimes Walgreens will call the police and only ask that the items be returned, and will then decline to press charges.
See,
but then
you see what I'm talking about? We are at that point now. It doesn't even matter. I'm going to call the police. And they're going to come They're going to make the dude or the woman put the stuff back on the shelf. Don't do that again. Send them on their merry way. And there's no, as Eddie Murphy would say, there's no consequences and repercussions for their actions. This is completely disgusting. Let's see what this undercover who doesn't want to be filmed says.
What happens is the Walgreens Corporation, that means the employees will have to show up to court and testify. And I think that's where the particular problem is. It's tying up their employees to go to court on these, on these retail thefts.
Walgreens isn't the only retailer facing a shoplifting problem. This Safeway on Webster Street in San Francisco joined with others in Oakland and San Jose to install these glass gates where shoppers have to scan their receipts to exit.
Bro.
Safeway released a statement.
Bro, you mean to tell me not only do I got to wait in line at a Safeway, I got to wait in line, I got to have the cashier run my stuff through, I've got to pay, let the guy finish bagging up, I got to keep my receipt, get my bags, and then now I got to scan the receipt just to get out the club? This is crazy. And not to mention, you probably have to pay for your shopping bags. California is screwed up. It really is screwed up. I got to pay for my shopping bags. I got to scan my receipt to get out. To get out, I got to scan my receipt. This is unbelievable. Wow, we are really living in a police state, almost a prison state of California.
Saying the grocery chain recently made the change at select Safeway stores in the Bay Area to maintain a safe and welcoming shopping experience for customers and associates, given the increasing amount of theft. Some shoppers said they didn't like the new gates. Others say they understand why they're a necessity.
It was different. I thought it was more like an airport kind of like, or, a security job, But if it does the job to keep shoplifters from shoplifting.
But here's the thing. Say for instance, someone gets caught shoplifting and then they get to the gate, they can't get out. Yeah, you got to put the stuff back. But again, there's no consequences or repercussions for said action. They're just going to do it again. Next thing you know, you're going to have people actually jumping the gate. They're going to jump the gate. They may karate kick the glass to say, you know what? You can't hold me. You can't put me in jail. I just come up here. One of these times I'm going to get away with something. I'm just going to load my pockets up. You may get 5 items. I'm going to go ahead and get get away with 10 items because you didn't catch the other 5. Man, this is crazy. This is really crazy.
Okay.
Another common security measure these stores have implemented is only having one way in and out to monitor who comes and goes. That means customers have to either backtrack to the entrance where they first entered or, as in the case of this Walgreens, use the stairs. We're live in San Francisco. Christian Cafton, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Man, Christian is lucky they didn't take his wedding ring. They didn't take the microphone, his watch, his tie, even his glasses. My man probably could use some new shoes in the background. So he's lucky he's standing there. I forget what movie it is. And there was a little scene, a little skit where the reporter was doing a report and they literally took all his clothes and took everything and left him standing there in front of the camera doing the report. I'm laughing, but this is what we're getting to. This is what we're getting to. And then people are saying, well, why the price is so high? I don't understand why it costs $15 for a tube of toothpaste. Well, it costs $15 for a tube of toothpaste. Number one, because Gavin Newsom is taxing the heck out of these businesses. And number two, Pookie and them down the street ripped off. It keeps ripping off the joint. So to recoup some of the losses, people like myself, people like you watching this show, have to pay the difference in the form of higher prices. Man, this is craziness. Absolutely craziness. Yeah, you guys tell me what you think about all this. You can comment in the comment section below. or you can call me inside my studio. What's on my face? What's on my head? Okay. It's like I'm just glistening. Got it. Okay. Or you can call me inside the studio. 562-337-9619. Let your voice be heard. I would love to speak with you on the air. It's just me answering the phone, so I'll be your screener. I'll be your host. I'll be everything. The only thing I ask from you is that you be interesting and that you don't swear. Okay? All right, so let me, while I got the screen, let me prep my next story, and then we'll get into the real meat of the show. But I thought this would be another interesting fact, another reasons not to move to California. Let's see. All right, here we go. Let me get this all prepped up for you here. All right, this one blows me away. Now, everyone should know, or if you don't, I'm telling you right now, California has a problem with insuring homes and commercial property. A lot of companies have left Southern California as far as insurance, and they're not writing any new homeowner policies. Now, you can still get insurance, but I think you have to go through the state. It's a little bit pricier. It's not the bomb insurance, but you'll have some insurance. But you're going to pay a ton of money for it. Insurance companies are leaving. They're starting to leave both auto and home insurance. So pretty soon you're not even going to be able to get auto insurance. Now, if you have insurance, you're good for now. You're grandfathered in. But there may be a time where if your insurance policy comes up to be renewed, or you lose your insurance or whatever, you may not get insurance. It gets worse. Let me just pull it up here. Now we got drones flying over properties, and based on what these drones see, they get the information, take the information back to the insurance companies, and then boom, you could get dropped.
Homeowners insurance can be hard to get these days. Some companies are not writing any new policies. Others are dropping longtime customers.
Yeah, among them, an East Bay man who was told he lost his insurance based on photos taken by a drone over his property.
Yeah, 7 on Your Side's Michael Finney says that came, as you can imagine, as a real shock.
This is a very interesting story. You'll be thinking about your home during this. At first, this guy was told he'd lost his insurance because drone photos taken over his property showed hazards in his yard.
Okay, so number one, drone photos. People, there's so much wrong with this right now, with this story. So much wrong with it. If you didn't, again, if you don't think you're living in a police state, you're sadly mistaken. It is time to, in my humble opinion, this is just information, with everything going on in California, it's probably a good time to cut your losses in California and go live elsewhere. Currently, that's what I'm doing. Getting all my ducks in a row and getting ready to be out of California because of things like this.
But the company would not show him the pictures. Later, he was told there was no drone, just aerial photos. He thought it was intruding on his privacy, and with no way to get his policy reinstated.
Up here, up there, over there, over there.
Drones sometimes fly over C.J. Sven's Oakley house. He never thought much of it until now.
Apparently they have some pictures and noticed clutter.
CJ was shocked when he got this notice from his longtime home insurance carrier, CSAA.
set up for non-renewal. They're going to be terminating our homeowners insurance policy.
His house isn't in a fire zone.
Man, so I'm going to back this up a little bit because there's some information there, but that I want you to hear. But notice of non-renewal. This dude lost his home insurance because of drone footage, aerial footage, whatever. Now, I don't like drones flying over my place. I don't like drones flying near me, not unless I know that they're flying near me. But these drones are getting pretty high tech, and they could probably go really high in the air. They make a lot of noise, but if they're really high in the air, you can still hear them buzzing around. And you don't know what they're doing. You don't know if they're taking pictures or they're sending video. You really can spy on your neighbor. And as if that wasn't bad enough, now you got to watch out for insurance companies flying over my property, and at their discretion, if they see something that they don't like, that they can cancel my insurance. And with the current state of insurance companies in California, I may not be able to get insurance buddies and say, they're around the water cooler. Yeah, we had to cancel Mr. Miller's home insurance because he has some clutter around his house. So he may give you a call, come talking about, can I get some insurance? Well, we ain't going to insurance. Next thing you know, ring, ring. Hello, such and such insurance company. Hi, yeah, I'd like to get some insurance. And then they get the basic information. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Miller, but we can't insure you anymore. What? So I could be blackballed? I'm not saying that this is what they're due, but if they're taking drone footage of your property, they might blackball you.
They're going to be terminating our homeowners insurance policy.
His house isn't in a fire zone, and he's never filed a single claim in 15 years. Instead, the notice said CSAA found clutter, hazardous waste, tires, and a dilapidated car in his yard.
So the insurance company found stuff that, and real talk, I don't like people with clutter, hazardous waste, tires, and a dilapidated car in their yard or in their backyard. However, that's their yard. I can't do nothing about that. If I wanted to do something about that, I would move. So with me saying that, an insurance company can see things that they don't like and say, you know what, based on the things that we don't like, we're going to go ahead and cancel your insurance. Now, was this in the insurance policy that there might be drones flying over your house? Well, I would suggest that you and me and all other homeowners would check their policies going forward and see if that clause is in your policy, that they reserve the right to fly over your house. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. They reserve the right to fly over your house and make a decision on whether they're going to continue to insure you or drop your insurance.
But how could they make such a claim? No one had been by to inspect the house. So CJ called the company.
I said, oh, well, no, we sent over a drone. I'm like, oh, they have a drone that they sent over my property and, I don't know, flew down into my yard.
They said, we had a drone, we've seen your house, your property, that's why we're denying you.
Correct.
He says CSAA would not let him see the drone photos or give him a chance to clear his yard.
And she mentioned, oh, well, no, at this point it's too late. We're not going to reconsider.
The CSAA later told CJ it did not use a drone. Instead, it reviewed aerial images taken by fixed plane or satellite.
Bruh. Really? So that's even just as bad. What's that movie that starred, I believe it was Gene Hackman and Will Smith, Enemy of the State, where Gene Hackman was like, don't look up, because there's satellite that could take a picture of you and crystal clear image of your face. So you mean that insurance companies now are going through their client list and checking each property in California? Because this is the first time I've heard this happening, and it would be happening in California. Are you kidding me? Again, people, I'm telling you, this is not an accident. They're setting us up. It would not surprise me. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. This is not what I want to do. But it would not surprise me if California would turn into a residential prison state with no middle class, only the poor and the wealthy, with the wealthy controlling the poor. Man, and this is how they're going to do it with drones. Oh my goodness, just another tool.
Still, the company would not show those images to CJ or to 7 on Your Side. We flew our own drone to show how it looks from up there.
It's not dangerous. It's not neglected. I mean, we are back here. We are using these things.
CJ also took me on a ground level tour and admits the yard is cluttered, but he's a do-it-yourself guy.
This is my first car that I got.
He's restoring his 1966 Chevy.
It's still in pretty good shape for going through a teenage.
Own tires each season. He says it's a lifestyle, not a hazard.
We were just found guilty and punished, and we had no idea, no warning, no opportunity to mitigate the situation.
CJ complained to the State Department of Insurance. In a reply, the company said images showed, quote, debris that resembles wood and cardboard, a gray truck with debris on the bed, a tan vehicle with debris on top.
Yeah, I kind of was offended. How dare you judge me for my stuff? I have stuff.
The company also said, while you may have had your insurance with the company for many years, paid your premiums and not filed claims, those factors are not considerations when evaluating property risk.
So it doesn't matter how good of a customer you are, how good of a client you are. If you've never filed a claim, think about all the thousands of dollars inside of 15 years that he's paid to this insurance company, and it looks like it's AAA. It looks like all this money that he's paid to AAA, never filed a claim. He's probably on time because you need insurance if you're going to own a home in California. And now, because someone took drone footage and they didn't like what they saw, he now has had his insurance canceled. There's no chance of cleaning up the property to their recommendation or to their specs. And it's just a hard no. And him being a good client or a good customer, those are not factors. Those factors are not considerations when evaluating property risk. Man, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Let's just finish out the news report here.
Sorry, we're done. Have a nice day. What do I do? I don't understand.
Insurance companies are increasingly using tools like aerial photography to assess the risk on your house. CSAA told us you can go online to services like Google Earth 3D, and you'll get a pretty good idea what companies may be looking at when they assess the risk of insuring your property. As for the legality of taking drone pictures over a house, well, state law only forbids that if you're specifically doing so as a sort of peeping Tom. Really? Now, if you're
Well, that is a peeping Tom. If you really think about it, that is a peeping Tom. You're making a distinction, spying. You're not giving me notice. You're not telling me you're going to send a drone over. You could at least tell me, hey, look, we're going to send a drone over. It's a new policy that we have, and here's some things that we're probably going to be looking for. Said drone is going to be flying over your house in 2 weeks on this day. If there's anything according to the list of stuff that could be a factor in evaluating whether you keep your insurance or where you're reinsured or whatever, you need to address that. So if you have a busted, broken down car, you might want to take care of that because you could be canceled. Now, I know that's common sense, but I would hope that these insurance companies aren't doing this all the time and they would give you a heads up. Man, this is crazy. So we got two stories. I'm not sure where Oakley is. I think it's up north, but we got two stories up north that, quite frankly, man, I don't even want to visit up north. I don't even like Southern California. I'm definitely not going to go up north. All right, guys. So what we're going to do now, let me set this up for you real quick. And yeah, let me just, man, because this next thing is a doozy. Let me just get it going here. All right. So I heard this, and it's going to be a little bit grainy. I apologize for that, because it's an old recording, and you remember Paul Harvey. For those who are my age and above, you probably have heard of Paul Harvey. This dude, it was a legendary broadcaster. I mean, this dude pretty much ran the airwaves. He was doing big things, highly syndicated, intelligent man, entitled If I Were the Devil. Now, I want you to sit back and really perk your ears up and listen to this. And I found a YouTube video where you're going to get the words. So if it's a little bit grainy, the audio, you can hear the words, or then you can see the words. And I want you to check this out, and then it gives you the chills. Then we're going to talk about it, and then I'm going to show you an updated version of this. So here we go. If I Were the Devil by Paul Harvey.
If I were the devil. If I were the devil. If I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have 1/3 of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. Thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
If that doesn't send chills down your spine. That is absolutely alarming. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting, so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. This is unbelievable. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. We have a drug epidemic that's just been out of control for at least 20 years. At least, probably more. We got a fentanyl crisis that's coming across our border every day. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, which is the truth, nations at war with themselves. This whole piece, in fact, let's try to run through it, and this time I'll stop along the way, and we'll do a commentary of what's going on today with this. But this was in 1965. 1965. So 75, 85, 95, 2005, 15. We're coming up on 60 years since Paul Harvey wrote this or recited this. And you can literally match up today's events perfectly with this. Let's give it a listen one more time.
If I were the devil, if I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have 1/3 of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States.
Now, last night, we talked about subversion, and that came from a KGB, former KGB agent that deflected over to the United States. And that interview was done in 1985. This was done in 1965. Now, in the piece that we heard last night, Yuri Bezmenov, the KGB agent that defected from Russia to us, in 1985, he said the subversion was almost complete. And he said it would take roughly, 13 years, an entire generation coming up from children going into kindergarten and going up through the public school system. So when the subversion was complete, according to Yuri Bezmenov, Paul Harvey had already made this prediction in the form of this poem. So this has been going on for the last probably 60, 70 years, people. The moral decay of the United States and the breakaway from God Almighty, the Most High, Yahweh.
I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve.
With the whisper of a serpent. This is why we need to read our Bibles. This is why every day, even if you don't understand it, if you pick it up for the first time and you don't understand it, you keep reading it. You keep praying. You ask God above, help me understand your word. Because in the very beginning, when the fall happened, the serpent, while Adam wasn't around, subverted Eve's vision of the tree.
Do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington.
And we have so many people, including people that are very close to me, that look to the government to take care of them. I'm the crazy one. When I talk to members of my own family that are close to me, and I tell them, look, the government is not there for you. Man, you don't know what you talking about, dog. See, you talking that crazy stuff, player. You don't know what you talking about, man. Man, I'll tell you what I do. I tell money, yeah, he gonna take care of me. Like, no, the government's not there for you. They're not there for you.
And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies. And
hey, what's the old saying? Sex sells, violence sells. Not wrong. Not wrong at all. But if you were to say, hey, let's watch an educational program about real history, about the Bible. Let's watch a documentary on subversion. No. You want to watch Die Hard? Yeah, let's go ahead and watch some Die Hard now. That's what I'm talking about. Really?
Vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have
mesmerizing media. You hear me say this all the time, and I will never stop saying this because I want it to sink in. They want us to constantly be entertained. Whether you're watching the news or whether you're watching movies, TV shows, music, or playing your video games. Be entertained. Mesmerizing media. Now, every now and then, hey, I'm not knocking it. I do the same thing. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you honestly take a choice to say, you know what, I'm going to check out. I'm going to watch the movie I like to watch, and just for a few hours. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the binge watching. I'm talking about playing video games all day long. That's what I'm talking about. And I've been guilty of it, folks. I've been guilty of it. There was a time before I started being aware of what's going on around me. Yeah, I would binge watch seasons of television shows inside a week. That's what they want from us. Stay mesmerized, stay entertained.
Have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, education is just full of it. Full of it. Let's not teach them the ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. Let's teach them other stuff. Let's not let's not teach them how to behave and hold them accountable. But now it's quite the opposite, to where parents are coming in and like, you know, telling the teachers, what did you do to my little Jimmy? Well, little Jimmy was bad. Little Jimmy was hitting people upside the head with like pencils and throwing chairs. Yeah, but what did you do to little Jimmy to make him do that? Okay. And then you got teachers who are actively indoctrinating our children, not teaching them their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, but teaching them that you can choose your own gender. Telling them that God got it wrong. You were made a girl or a boy, but that's not right. What do you want to be? You want to be a cat? Okay, you're a cat. Oh, you don't have a gender? Okay, you can be non-binary. That's fine. There's many different genders. Goes in direct contrast of the Holy Bible. This is true. This is what's going on right now.
Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion.
And this is what they're doing. I'm putting together a video to be available on Patreon. And again, just a real cheap plug. That's where the stuff that I will put there that I know will get flagged on YouTube, possibly Rumble, and any other media that I'm on. That way on Patreon, if you want more, that's where you can get it. If you want the deep dive stuff, that's where you're going to get it. Because this is one of the things is this whole just stay focused, Thomas, don't digress. But you got this whole solar system thing, and it's just lies. But I go into that on my Patreon, where they want you to put forth, forget what the Bible says about creation. Forget it. This is how it's done based on science. This is what we say happened. And not only do we say this is how the heavens and earth were created, we're going to keep pushing it and keep pushing it and keep pushing it until you are all brainwashed and you believe it. And then you will accept the way the heavens and earth were created, and you will not look at the Bible. This is real talk. This is what this is all about. Alex Jones and his InfoWars have it perfectly wrapped up. There's a war going on for your mind. This is true.
And deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious.
And that's what's going on right now. Last night, I covered that California will soon institute different rates as far rates for electricity according to how much money you make. So if I'm going to pay less for electricity because I make less money, and I got to pay more for electricity because I make more money, what do you think most people will do? Like, I don't want to make any more money. Man, I get taken care of. If I have no ambitions, the government will take care of me. I don't have to work. Why would I work? Just so I could be taxed out of existence? Yeah, nah. I don't want to be ambitious anymore. This is real.
And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct.
In hard work, I just covered it. Why would I work hard? The government's going to take care of me. Patriotism now is under attack. Again, for now going on 2 weeks, you got the whole controversy with the Jason Aldean song. It's racist. It promotes lynching, white supremacy. This is gun violence. Unbelievable, Jason Aldean. When all it says is, let's bring back morality. You won't try that in a small town because it's full of good old boys raised up right with morals, values, biblical values, family morals. But that's hatred. That's hatred. Defund the police. Really? If you're in the military, you're some kind of killer. This is what they want to do. If you are pro-United States of America, then somehow you are an evil person. And moral conduct, man, you can just, I'm not even going to that because you can just, I'm just going to say it. This last month, or was it, no, June, gay pride, please. Man, you want to see morality at its full decline? There you go. Just look. And that's just one part of it.
I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure.
I know somebody very close to me. They have HIV. And Paul Harvey says right here, and thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases which there is no cure. I mention HIV because there's commercials now. If you look at these commercials, they're very good at their words. They tell you if you take these pills, HIV can be undetectable. Undetectable. Doesn't say it's going to cure it. It's just going to make it undetectable. So if you think you don't, so out of sight, out of mind, you go to your doctor if you have HIV and it doesn't show up, out of sight, out of mind, you start to think that you're cured. You start to be more and more promiscuous, and you continue with your sexual immorality, and you keep spreading that, and you keep spreading that, and you keep spreading that. The pharmaceutical industry doesn't want to cure anything. There's no money in the comeback. I mean, there's no money in the cure. The money is in the comeback. And that's not my words. That's Chris Rock's words. They don't want to cure nothing. There's no money in the cure. The money is in the comeback. The pharmaceutical industries are the biggest drug dealers. You think Pookie and his gang down the street are the big drug dealers? Please. Please. There's a story that I came across. I came across it, I'm going to say last year sometime. And Coca-Cola takes Coca-Cola. There's a way, but the Coca-Cola company, they end up taking all the cocaine out of its products, all the drug part of it out of its products. Something like it's a ridiculous amount of money, something like $2 billion a year that they have this drugs, they have cocaine, they have narcotics in their factories. They don't dispose of it. They sell it back to the government. That's real. I got to find it. When I find it, I'll put it in the description box below. I'm telling you, the government and pharmaceutical companies, biggest drug dealers in the world.
In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
That is unbelievable. All right, so now I got one more video to show you. Let me just cue it up here. Let me come back big while I cue it up for you. And man, and you can comment on this if you want. let's see here. Let me get this queued up. The number is 562-337-9619. It's inside this little studio of mine. And let's get right into the other video. This is inspired by the Paul Harvey video. This guy is named Prince Iya. I don't want to mispronounce his name. Prince E. The A could be silent, but anyway, it's an updated version, pretty much the same, but it's more relatable. But I think the Paul Harvey one is just phenomenal. Even for 1965, it just matches up perfectly with today's events. But here was the devil. Here we go.
If I was the devil, my first victim would be the kids. From the moment they left their mother's precious wombs and were born, I would condition them to see racial division as a norm. And I wouldn't stop till I've stripped their innocence, divide and conquer. It's the oldest trick in the book of Genesis. And see, as they grew up, I would continue my infiltration. For 12 years, I would steal their hearts and minds from them and call it education. If I was the devil, my next victim will be women. I'd make old, out-of-touch men control women's bodies and rights. What better way to curse God than to disrespect the very bringers of life? Speaking of God, if I was the devil when it comes to religion, I put my plan together perfectly. I'd allow you to worship Jesus every Sunday, and on the other 6 days, I'd make you worship me. In the form of money, fame, lust, and greed, to my religion, I wouldn't need to convert you. I'd turn the 10 commandments to the 10 suggestions and make virtue signaling more important than virtue. I give you just enough religion to hate each other, but not enough to love each other. And for my final evil strategy, I'd make you forget the whole purpose of religion was spirituality. If I was the devil, I wouldn't come dressed in a red cape and pointy horns. I'd drive a Lambo, have a pretty face and a Gucci belt on. Basically, I'd take the form of everything you ever wished for and watch you create your own hell. I don't need to torch the earth. And as far as politicians go, I'd change nothing. They're already doing my dirty work. If I was the devil low-key, I'd be behind the scenes. You wouldn't have to see me. I would normalize dysfunction and call it reality TV. And in this reality, I would attack your self-worth, making it hard to heal from. I'd show you images of fake bodies and make them more attractive than real ones. If I was the devil, I'd make you pray to technology and idolize those who create it. I'd make clout the #1 drug and steal millions of lost souls as they chased it. Now, if I was the devil, I wouldn't do it all at once. I'd take my time instead. I'd eat away at your morals little by little, exactly how cancer spreads. Speaking of cancer, if I was the devil, I'd feed you tasty food that makes you ill. Then I'd turn your doctors into drug dealers, selling you pills that keep you coming back instead of truly healed. Yeah, if I was Lucifer, then I'd know life and death are in the tongue. So I'd make your knife and fork your executioner. See, you can't achieve higher consciousness if your body is sick. You won't opt for positive information if you have inflammation. If I was Satan, my cleverness would be admired. Why do you think the word inflammation literally means to set on fire? If I was the devil, I'd show you how to really flex. I would release pandemics on the world to give people the chance to really care for each other and then sit back and laugh as they exploited and became scared of each other. Basically, if I was the devil, I'd keep doing what I'm doing. God is my witness. I already control your systems. Don't try to fight against this. Because for my last trick, I would make smart people like you doubt whether I ever existed.
Man, I'm telling you, and I talk to so many people that say that they're spiritual. That one, there's a lot of things that went on in that video where they say, "Oh, I'm a spiritual person." That doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. Now, we have a lot of work to do. But if you number one, if you love yourself, you love your family. This is real talk. Then we will turn away from the things that we are seeing right now, the things that we are witnessing right now, and we would turn away from it, and we would go back to our God in heaven, and we would read his word every day, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to see this stuff around us, because the Bible tells us this dude is slippery and he is crafty. Remember, he's been doing this for 1,000. Discord, disconnect. Man, we are at a point in time to where everything is lined up for our Lord and Savior to come back. And if we are not in the Word, if we are not reading our Bibles and praying every day, and we are not taking an active step to unplug from this mystery Babylon, we're just headed right down the road. We're just headed right down the road to hell. That's just facts. That's just truth. What is the road to hell paved with? Good intentions. We can't succumb to feelings just because someone may be mean, or it's not what we want to hear, or we lose. We're not the prettiest. We're not the smartest. Everyone is not equal. Men and women are not the same. And ladies, for real, there is an attack on you. When you got these men cutting off their junk, getting breast implants, and calling themselves women. And where the feminists at? Why aren't they upset when these men, these godless men, are taking away opportunities from our girls, our women? And we keep elevating them, calling them Woman of the Year. A genetically born male. And we're calling him Woman of the Year. Let that sink in for a moment. If you read the truth, if you come back to the truth, you will see that that's just a lie straight from the devil himself. And it's okay that men and women are not equal. It's okay. Because together, we're awesome. God told us so. We got to get back to morality. We got to get back to common sense. There's a thing that the kids are saying nowadays when their friends have spent way too much time playing games, and they call it go touch grass. We need to go touch grass. We need to smell a rose. We need to love one another. And we need to tell our children, especially our children, it's good. Hard work is good. Strive to be the best. Don't eat chips and hot dogs and hamburgers and think that you're going to be healthy, because you're not. I've got a lot of good stuff coming to my Patreon. Man, this stuff is, it's heavy, but it's stuff that we need to think about. And we need to talk about these things. Because that slippery dude, Satan, doesn't want us to talk about this stuff. Doesn't want us. He wants us. There's a part in here that also struck home. Let me see if I can find it. I think this is this part right here.
If I was the devil, I'd make you pray to technology and idolize those who created. I'd make clout the number one.
Hang on. There's a part. Here it is. Right here.
Not enough to love each other. And for my final evil strategy, I'd make you forget the whole purpose of religion was spirituality. If I was the devil, I wouldn't come dressed in a red cape and pointy horns. I'd drive a Lambo, have a pretty face and a Gucci belt on. Basically, I'd take the form of everything you ever wished for and watch you create your own hell. I don't need to torch the earth. And as far as politicians go, I'd change nothing.
All of that, just all of that. It's incredible. I thought it was very interesting. I tried to find it, but I couldn't find it real quick, where he said, I would have you believe in Jesus. You can believe in Jesus all you want. I'll let you worship on Sundays, but the other 6 days, you're going to worship me in the form of money, fame, riches, all of that stuff. And it's true. See, the devil wants us to worship on Sundays. Just let me digress just for a second. But and anyone who knows me, they know I really, really try to do this. I try to do nothing on Saturdays. Not a thing. Not one thing. But get in my Bible, spend time with my family. I don't even do housework. I don't mow the yard. I do nothing on Saturdays now because the Lord tells us in his 4th commandment, honor the Sabbath. The 7th day is sacred. It's holy. It's hallowed. 6 days you shall work, but on the 7th day, you'll do nothing. It is a rest. For 6 days, God created the heavens and the earth, and on the 7th day, he rested. He wants to commune with us on the 7th day. That is Saturday. But and real quick, just going to give you a lesson here. And you can look it up. This is truth. The Catholic Church, I believe it was Constantine, said, we're going to change the Sabbath day from Saturday to Sunday. What? And the world bought into that. God tells us to worship him, hallow the 7th day. In the book of Daniel, talks about a kingdom coming up, a horn that will come up. And that horn is a symbol. It symbolizes either a nation or a kingdom or king. And that horn will come up and change signs and dates. This is real talk. And I can't believe that our pastors are not teaching this stuff in our churches. But you go back and you read the 10 Commandments. Not only the 10 Commandments. Notice what God says all during his Bible. If you keep my commandments, follow my commandments, if you keep my laws. I digressed for a moment. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me today. I know this, gosh, man, that's pretty heavy. It's really heavy, but it's truth. It really is truth. Thank you guys for tuning in to the show tonight. I do appreciate it. Man. I got stuff coming to my Patreon. You need to check it out. I will be also posting more on the new X, and I'll be posting more on Truth Social. I thank you so much for everyone watching these live broadcasts. They're rough, and I do some rambling, but I appreciate it. Anyone who's watching, the best way you can help this channel grow is you just like the video, and then you tell somebody. You share the link, and you get them watching. My goal is to get you to think. It's to check out of Mystery Babylon. There is a battle for your mind. I got that quote from InfoWars, but it's true. There's a battle for your mind. Make sure you're reading your Bibles. Hug your family. Tell your friends that you care about them. And continue to be the best representation of Jesus that you can be. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Take care of yourselves. And have a good evening. And I will see you, or I will talk to you tomorrow night on the next live. All right. Bye.